Awesome. Good to see everybody virtually. Curious what lifestyle investment means. Well, this is perfect. I'm excited to share this with you guys because we get a lot of confusion about this concept, so it is a bit different. So I'm excited to share with you guys. I think we'll wait for about one more minute. I'm also curious to know if you guys put in the chat as well, um, put in there where and if you own any short-term rentals. I'm very curious. Or if there's someone who doesn't have a short-term rental is interested in it. While we wait, got a few more popping in. No short-term rentals yet. Well, this is actually a good start to learn the difference between an investment and a lifestyle investment. Okay, so I think we're just going to start. Got a good chunk of people here, and a few more may trickle in. Okay, you should be able to see my screen here of the benefits of lifestyle investment. If you can't, I'm sure someone will stop me. Good question, Ashley. Oh, you can't see it. Well, that's different from a minute ago. Let me reshare. Oh, Ashley can. Okay. Can you put in the chat if you can see it? Okay, perfect. Okay, we should be able to see it now. Okay, so really this can apply to any market with these types of things. So I'm going to go over what makes a good lifestyle investment, kind of the key things that you'd be looking for in a lifestyle investment. But my area is Salt Lake City, so that's kind of the market that I'm going to base this all on. Okay, so as a first, just an introduction. So my name's Rachel Kirkham. I am a savvy STR agent with Tyler Kuhn's team, and my market is Salt Lake, really all of Utah. We do northern and southern. And then I own a management company here called Comigo Vacation Rentals as well. So we started in the management world, and I love realty and I love buying houses for myself. So that's why I got into realty. And now I am an STR specific agent to help those people in my niche. You know, if you're in a niche, you might as well stick in it. So, okay, so what this means. Oh, that was me. My very businesswoman picture. Okay. So a lifestyle investment. Oh, return to editor. Something's wrong. So I'm going to try this again. Do that. Present. Okay. Lou, chat me if you can't see this. Okay, so why these types of investments matter. So there's different types of investment. If you're going to purchase a short-term rental that is strictly investment, that means there's no emotion attached to it whatsoever. It means it's really just data driven. Oh my heck. I don't know why it's doing this. So we'll just do it this way. Okay. So it's data driven. You're just looking at numbers, your return, things of that nature. If you have a lifestyle investment, there's more emotion into it. Um, and you intend to use it. So Bill Faith said this to me once, and it makes perfect sense. I can share on your end. I think if this works, we'll just keep it this way, Lou. So Bill Faith said it is basically a vacation home that you use that someone else pays for. So you get to go and use and enjoy it. Um, so it blends your enjoyment with financial growth at the same time. So you're not super focused on your cash flow. It's more of like this asset that sits in appreciation and earns wealth over time, but is paid for by someone else. And you get to enjoy the lifestyle of that asset. Okay, so an example is a vacation rental provides both a personal getaway and a higher quality of life and generates supplemental income and future wealth. So if you own a vacation home and have someone else pay for it, and it just kind of brings balance to your life, live well now and build wealth for the future. We manage around 100 homes or so, but we do struggle with certain owners who have bought this vacation rental as a lifestyle investment, but they treat it as a pure investment. And so they get the two mixed up, and it causes a lot of disappointment in their expectations and a lot of disappointment on the management side. Because, for example, we have a home that we manage in Island Park, Idaho. It's a cabin, it's pure vacation rental. This family uses it all the time. They use it. That's what it's there for. But they expect cash flow on it. And in reality, you're really not, with a lifestyle investment, you're not focused on the cash flow. You are focused on using it and enjoying it. And you may need to pay the mortgage every now and again. But it's more of a supplemental income rented out when you're not using it. That is what a lifestyle investment is. So it's good to know when you're purchasing your first STR or any STR, is this a pure investment, or are you going to use it? And how much are you going to use it? Okay, so target audience for lifestyle investments. Okay, so vacation home seekers, families or individuals looking for a second home that generates rental income, but also something they can use and enjoy. STR investors also are target audience for this. Typically, it's more experienced STR investors because they know the drill, and it's something that they can make money off of, but still use. Outdoor enthusiasts, they love this type of thing. So if they have a hobby, if you're an investor that has a hobby, something that you guys like to do, lakes, mountains, outdoor, national parks, any of that, this would be a good plan for you to plan on in the future. If not, it doesn't need to be one of your first STRs, but it can as well. It just depends on your situation. Relocation buyers, remote workers, or people relocating to Salt Lake City specifically for its lifestyle. We get a lot of lifestyle investors here in Salt Lake. And why? Because of the Utah lifestyle. So what lifestyle is in Utah that brings these investors? And you can kind of compare this to any market that you are interested in. Here, it's the skiing mainly. So if you're going to do that skiing here, we recommend the Epic or Icon passes because skiing is ridiculously expensive here, but that is one way to navigate and make it more affordable. The varied terrain in Utah, we have high peaks, steep canyons, red rock and sand, lakes, and just a ton of diverse options for any outdoor activity. They call it the outdoor playground. There are even waterfalls nearby, so I can go from my house to a hike, drive 10 minutes to a hike, and hike to a waterfall. This picture is actually one of my favorites. It's a longer hike, but this is a hot springs. It's called Fifth Hot Springs Waterfall. So there's just giant pools of hot springs that people swim in. Another thing is the national park. So Utah is home to the Mighty Five. That's what they call them. We've got Zion, Bryce, the Arches, Canyonlands, and Capitol Reef. And they're all extremely unique. They all have their own little world surrounding them. Zion is absolutely beautiful. Arches is completely different from all the rest if you've ever been to Moab. So that is a big appeal for Utah as well. That's more southern Utah, but people still go from Salt Lake. It's about a 4-hour drive to really any of those from Salt Lake City. There is seasonal appeal because of this varied terrain. There are activities for each season that attract people. And if you're looking at a lifestyle investment, maybe it'd be the same thing. You want something that will have someone coming year round that would be appealing to them. For Utah specifically, the accessibility, we have an international airport right in downtown. So it's convenient to get here, and then it's convenient to get anywhere that you want these varied terrains from Salt Lake City. We also have sports teams here, which is also helpful in any lifestyle investment because we've got the city life as well. We've got the NBA, Utah Jazz, MLS, and Real Salt Lake. We just acquired an NHL team this year, which was a big deal. We have a women's soccer team, and soon a Major League Baseball stadium is coming here. So we'll talk more about that. Okay. So why Salt Lake is a great location for lifestyle investments is because of that year-round playground that I talked about. It also has the high rental demand. So AirDNA score in the rental, there's like a rental demand category, is 73, which is higher than it was this time last year. And we'll go more into stats on that as well. Accessibility, international airport, and a short drive to everywhere, and then strong property appreciation. So this is a big one for Salt Lake specifically. And it's more expensive to buy here. I mean, it's getting expensive anywhere. Prices are high. So this is a great way to, it's kind of a longer term take on wealth, and growing your wealth is finding somewhere that has that strong appreciation. Bill Faith has a place in Montana, I think it is, and he says he doesn't cash flow on it, but he obtains 10% appreciation each year, so he doesn't want to sell it. Okay, and then so the growing potential of Salt Lake City's market. Okay, so we're going to go over the historical impact, the Olympics advantage, high rental demand, and then some massive developments that are coming on. So this is mostly to Salt Lake City in particular, but you can kind of take pieces from it and apply it to your market or the one you're interested in. Okay, so the biggest one is property appreciation. So since 1991, we here have the biggest appreciation in the nation. It outpaces the average by 300%, as you can see in those numbers. And then just for the 5 years, the past 5 years alone, the annual appreciation is at an average of 8.82, which is pretty great. 2024 slowed down immensely. We were in like the bottom for the first time ever. And I have an opinion about that. So recent appreciation rates, they have moderated, but the long-standing trend of significant home value growth is here. And honestly, there are stats from 1900 of how it's only appreciated. And then Park City mirrors this same data on appreciation. So that is why it's a safe place to have a buy and hold property here because of that. And I can say in my experience, I own 4 homes here, all of which I was lucky when I bought them, pre-2019, but they've doubled. They have doubled in appreciation. So 2024, 2023, it bottomed out. And the reason being, my opinion, we had, which you'll see in the population growth, we had a ton of people move in 1 year. Basically what happened is cash buyers came everywhere because properties were cheap in Utah at the time. So mostly Californians came and they were like, oh my gosh, interest rates are at 3%. And they just started buying our inventory with cash. And so being a real estate agent at that time was crazy. Their homes would go on the market for one day and be under contract because they had 70 offers on this home. It was insane. So property values, they were all selling for way over asking price with cash, and it was nuts. So I think that is why once those property appreciation, because of that, they appreciated like crazy in 1 year. And then it has had to slow down since then because of interest rate changes. So with Salt Lake, this is the Olympic advantage. If you've been out here, you might understand it a little better. But so there's 15 ski resorts in Utah, and 11 of them are less than an hour from the airport. So it is the ideal location. We've hosted the Olympics before in 2002, and we're doing it again in 2034. I think our infrastructure is there, which makes it a great place for returning Olympics. I don't think this will be the last time that we host the Olympics here. It's interesting to see what happens with other host cities, specifically like Summer Olympic cities, where they build all these stadiums and different things for their Olympics and then never use them again. They call them the white elephant, and they just kind of go abandoned. It's interesting. But our infrastructure is here. It remains in use year round. And then property values, they often see upticks in years leading to the games, which is driven by improvements in global attention. So right now is a great time to buy in Utah because it'll only uptick for the next 8 years, 10 years. And then Salt Lake also has a very compact layout, which makes surrounding areas more attractive to investors and buyers. So I'll kind of go over a little map of the area. And when you hear Salt Lake market, in reality, it encompasses so much more than just Salt Lake. There are also 11 official Olympic training facilities that range in location from all around Salt Lake area and in Park City. And we have a new practice facility coming in Utah. It's really cool. In Sandy, that's where I live. The NHL team, since it's brand new, they took over a mall. So in this mall, they are obliterating the inside and turning it into a practice hockey facility. So I'm sure that will be in use for Olympics as well. So these are the surrounding areas. So you can see the Salt Lake Airport is here, and this is downtown Salt Lake City. All right. So, but really, when we talk about the Salt Lake area, it encompasses all of this. So we've got Olympic venues and different activities that happen all here and all here. So a lifestyle investment doesn't necessarily have to be in the most expensive part of like Park City, which is back here, or downtown Salt Lake City. There are surrounding areas that do just as well. Actually, on AirDNA, the submarkets in Salt Lake are much higher scores and much better overall. If you were to just type in Salt Lake in AirDNA, I think the score is like 31. Park City has a score of 2, which is hilarious to me. But the biggest reason is it's a very high cost of entry, and most of it is lifestyle investments. People use those homes there and then supplement it with rentals, but very high owner use in Park City. It's a great lifestyle investment place, honestly. So I was actually in 5th grade the last time the Olympics came, and they had events. I grew up here in Roy. They had curling events here at Weber State University. They had ice skating events there. So really, the Olympic events encompass this entire area, not just Salt Lake. Okay, so moving on to the high rental demand, this is kind of a good place to look for any investment, lifestyle investment. Where's the market going? Is there a desire to be there? So in Salt Lake, rental demand is high and rents are increasing and vacancy rates are lower due to our population growth, which is kind of what I was mentioning earlier with the Californian influx. So we have a lot of economic growth here due to tech and finance companies. They're bringing in a steady influx of professionals. So right here at this point of the mountain, I might refer to this map quite a bit so you can get a feel for the area. We call this the point of the mountain and this the point of the mountain. There's 2 points of the mountains. This one takes you into Provo area where BYU is located over here. Right here. Sorry, I'm going to mute this person. I don't know if I can. Okay. So, sorry, rental demand. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, right at the point of the mountain right here. This is called the new Silicon Slopes. It's kind of similar to the real Silicon Slopes. So Adobe set up shop there. There's tons of tech companies and finance companies right there. There's a huge Carvana vending machine. I don't know if you've seen those car vending machines. It's pretty insane. So because of that, there's been a huge influx. So in 2022, Utah had an influx of 91,000 people move into the state, and Californians made up of almost 20,000 of those people. Um, cool, actually, that is fun. Auditors estimated Utah needs to see nearly 28,000 new housing units built a year to keep up with the state's projected population growth. So it's just been insane the past few years of trying to find housing and different things for people, but developments are coming. So the new developments that we have here, and I'll probably go back to the map to kind of show you this. The Power District and the Point. So these are really cool, and we're all very much looking forward to these. So the Power District is on the west side of Salt Lake downtown. So you can see Salt Lake here. It's just going to be here where the power plant is. The west side of Salt Lake has this reputation for being more run down. So Larry H. Miller, who's the former owner of the Jazz, he puts a lot into this community. So he's spending, well, he is no longer with us, but his foundation is spending like $1 billion to turn 100 acres into this awesome little place. It is going to include a Major League Baseball stadium. So we were actually in the running for a Major League Baseball expansion, and it didn't come through. Instead, we got the hockey club. But we have a stadium in Salt Lake. However, I believe it's being repurposed, and it's not big enough for a Major League Baseball stadium. So in this one, they are building a stadium there, and they are planning to have an expansion team come here to Salt Lake. And in that 100 acres, there's going to be retail, commercial, and residential. It's also planned to like clean up the river right there. It's a huge project. We're really looking forward to that. And then the Point. This is the projection of what it's going to look like. It's a 600-acre development at the point of the mountain where our prison used to be. So we had a huge prison right here. See that empty space? That is going to be the Point. And so they went down, knocked down our prison, and are starting this giant development. So over 3,300 multifamily housing units are being put there, and they're going to include 400 affordable housing units. And then there will be business and retail, parks, an event center, 600 acres of development there. So I'm just checking out the chat. When is the Point going to be complete, do you think? That's a great question. I believe both of these are going to be attempted to be done before the Olympics. I imagine that's a big part of it. The Point was in plans before we even got the Olympics bid. But I'm hoping by the Olympics, I think that's when it'll shoot for. So another reason why Salt Lake purchases of these types of homes are a really good option right now, just because the economics and the developments, the demand, it's all coming to a head. And like the data shows, it'll show an uptick of appreciation before the games. Okay. If you have any questions, because I'm coming towards the end here, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I do have a case study here of a home in Park City that we've done. I think a lot of people steer away from Utah because they can't find cash flow. There are units that can cash flow. You just have to know, you just have to work with an expert that's looking for those in particular. They are far and few between, but they exist. However, there's a ton of great lifestyle investments that can be had here. So kind of just depends on what you're looking for. I'll give an example of one. This is a case study of a home we manage in Park City. The owner bought a plot of land and built this home because they are developers. And so they had a construction loan out for $1,150,000. They had this year in 2024. I wonder if I can share this. Let me know if you can see my HostAway dashboard. Let me have to change it. Let me change that for a sec. Oh, you can. Perfect. Okay. So since we manage this property, this is actual data. This is to the cent. So this is 2024. January to December. They started technically in December of 2023. So this is one thing I want you all to be aware of is it takes time to build up a reputation for your home, regardless if it's a lifestyle or short-term investors. So this property we consider to be a super property. It's ridiculous. It has an indoor sports court. It's massive super property, which are the ones that you'll find cash flow on in Utah. But it started off super slow. And then you can see this winter, after it's built up a lot of reviews and notoriety, it's exploding. So if I go even to the future reservations here in July, it shoots up to a rental revenue of 320,000, which is what is projected on AirDNA, which is great because AirDNA usually overshoots that. So they're actually accurate on this one. So it's currently, we're sitting just here, and then these are just future ones that are coming. So cash flow's there. That's just a cool case study that we have done on if you want like an investment property in a high expensive area. Let me see. Then they need to be super properties. But lifestyle investments are a bit different. Let me see. Okay, back to here. Okay, so this is the Savvy team. We have agents in many different markets, but these are the people to work with if you are looking at any of this. So if you have any questions, or in the comments or in the chat, you can put like what area interests you, and we may be able to refer you in the right direction. But I just got a call this morning actually from a potential buyer in Salt Lake who's like, I've been talking to a realtor, but they don't know anything about short-term rental. Well, it's different. You need to find a short-term rental expert. So we have a question here by Franklin. What specifically do you mean by a lifestyle investment? So that kind of goes back to the beginning of a lifestyle investment here. So it's basically a home. It's a vacation home that someone else pays for. It's something that you won't necessarily cash flow on every month, but it's an asset that's building wealth by sitting. Oh, you're good, Franklin. It's building wealth by sitting and getting appreciation. But it's not necessarily going to cash flow. And that wouldn't be your main focus in a lifestyle investment. Oh, yes, Ashley, the tax benefits that still come into play, of course. So yes, massive tax benefits. And you still get the short-term rental tax benefits as well. And I'm not an accountant, so you need to talk to an accountant about what those are exactly. But you still get those tax benefits and have someone else pay for your vacation home while it's sitting there building wealth. So these are Savvy agents. Let me know what areas you're interested in, whether it's a lifestyle investment or not. We can point you in the right direction. So, oh, Shauna in the Ogden Valley. So Eden, I actually am working with a buyer right now. I'm buying in Eden. Eden is, I'll just pull up the map here, everybody. So Eden is right through this canyon. Wait, not that one, this one right here. So right by Eden is actually Powder Mountain. Powder Mountain has been known, and Nordic Valley, they're two ski resorts. It's been known to be more local ski resorts, but the CEO of Netflix just bought Powder Mountain and has promised like this huge expansion of it. So because of that, it might be an Olympic venue. Snow Basin was an Olympic venue. So Eden sits right between Snow Basin, Nordic Valley, and Powder Mountain. It is kind of looked at like a Park City before Park City. I think one day it'll turn into something similar to Park City, but right now there's a lot more space and it's not as fully populated yet. So I actually love the Eden market, and I found a few homes that would do really, really well there. So let me know if you need help finding some. I'm actually going with the current buyer when they get here in March to go check out some homes in Eden. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There's views no matter what home you buy. And then right here, it's also right by the Pine View Reservoir. So you've got boating, lakes, and mountains all in one go. So I actually really like that area. Another one to check out, Shauna, would be Mountain Green, which is right in there as well. What happened to that plan of making that area a utopia type area? Are we talking Eden or this area here? Yes. I don't recall of a plan to make it a utopia type area, but that's kind of news to me. I'm curious what you're referring to. I don't know that one. Yes, I do have a booking link for our calendar, for my calendar. I'll post that in the chat and we can talk more about certain areas that you might be interested in. And actually, I've got it right here. Thank you, Ashley. So you can talk more about it. You can scan this QR code. There's my email address and phone number. If you have any questions about Utah, I can help you with that. If you have any questions with any other markets or who to go to, we can also guide you in the right direction to go to there. Okay. Are there any other questions about either expectations of lifestyle investments versus pure investment? Anything of that nature? I'll hang out and wait in the chat here for a little bit. But other than that, that's all I've got for you today. So it has ended a little bit early, so I'm just going to leave this time open for anybody who has questions. But it was really nice to see people here and glad there's some interest. Thanks, guys. My husband's in the chat. He's hitting on me right now. Is that next Park City something that could cash flow as a lifestyle investment? Yes, I actually believe it is. I wish I had this home that was super unique that I was trying to get a buyer to buy, but it's already under contract. And it could have, because the price point is lower there than it is in Park City, it's actually a much better investment, in my opinion, because the price won't always be lower. So now is actually a good time. So I think the home that I was looking at, it was very cool. It was like a dome shape. It was unique. It had all the short-term rental fixings. It was bigger, 5+ bedroom, and it would have cash flowed for sure. So that might be something to look into, Mike. If you can find those properties at a lower purchase price, then your chances of cash flow are much, much higher. But when you get into these locations like Park City, where people want that lifestyle, then they probably shouldn't expect to cash flow. Though I did find one in Park City that it would have been a burr, if you would. So there are those homes too. Like if you can buy, if you're not afraid of work, there was a Park City home right at the top of the mountain that needed probably a good $200,000 remodel, but it could have done cash flow as well. So it kind of depends on the type of home you're looking for. In the process of buying a short-term rental on the Gulf Coast, but maybe send me some listings in that area. Perfect. I'm going to save your email. Powder Mountain was supposed to be a utopian club for the millennial elite back in 2018. If that is part of the CEO purchase, then yes, that's probably still happening. The only info I have on that is that he's promising a ridiculous amount of money and amenity upgrade at Powder Mountain specifically. So that might be the same thing. Okay, Mike, I'm saving your email. Gulf Coast is great too. One guy from PayPal. Interesting. I don't recall that. I do know that the buyer that I'm working with in Eden right now, they are coming specifically because of the promises that the CEO of Netflix is doing. So maybe Google that and see if it's one and the same that we're thinking of. But I do know he's still planning on adding a lot of amenities and buildings there. So maybe it is the same. Probably stay on here for like 5 more minutes if anyone has any questions. You got me curious, actually. Actually, I did read an article from the CEO of Netflix, and just it talked about how much money he was going to put into it, an expansion of terrain and buildings. But maybe it is also referred to as a utopian place. I would hope to see, I don't know if they will, but Snow Basin has a gondola. So a gondola it exists here in Snow Basin and then at Snowbird over here. And those are really fun because you can take them in the summer too. They do a lot of events in the summer. So that'd be cool. If Powder Mountain had that, but it's been a local ski hill from this point on. So that's exciting. There's a lot of hope there. Nordic Valley is a local ski hill. That's the one I went to on field trips growing up. And it was super cheap. It's still very economical and just like straight down. So that one's more local, but all the locals prefer that because it's really expensive everywhere else. What's an approximate price for a place in downtown Salt Lake City for cash flowing Salt Lake City, if there's such a thing? Oh, I got you on this. Okay. So data shows that the it's odd, but the 5 bedrooms plus, really technically 6 bedrooms plus, are the highest revenue earner. And there's a huge gap in 4 bedrooms and 6 bedrooms plus. You can see on AirDNA. Let me see if I can even bring it up. Um, but 5 bedrooms, those bigger homes, they do better. And those are the ones, so like the case study I showed you of that one in Park City, that is cash flowing now. So there's the rental demand category. But if I go down, AirDNA always takes forever, into the bedroom one. So when you type in Salt Lake, it encompasses this whole area. If you go down into the sub markets, you'll get more accurate data. 5 bedroom. Okay, so if we go over the last 2 years, so you can see here at this point in time, there was a time where 5 and 4 bedrooms did the same and kind of intermingled there. But the 6 bed plus has always been very above the rest. There was one I was looking at yesterday where I can't remember which submarket it was in, that we can even try Ogden. Their DNA has misspelled Ogden. Drives me nuts a little, but I don't know how to get them to fix that. And Ogden encompasses the whole north. So again, you kind of need to look at these submarkets because that's the reality of it. So I would just say the bigger homes are the ones that cash flow. They're also a higher price point. However, If you're looking to buy it specifically in Utah, buy in the down season when it's hard to get things off the market. So look, during winter is the time to buy because there's way more negotiations because nobody's buying homes at that time. No, 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 no. Look at that, Ogden. So in 2024, it's gotten higher. So we can like, if you have a question of a specific submarket, we can look deeper into that. But that's especially in management, the ones that I notice doing better are the bigger properties. And I think Utah is a huge family state. There's a lot of kids here and families that visit. There's a temple in like every city. And so there's wedding events and different things like that. But people tend to come in groups here. So those are the type of cash flowing units. However, I will say in Salt Lake City downtown, the only things that are technically legal are townhomes that have an HOA roundabout of allowing short-term rentals. So all the new townhome developments, those are all legal because the HOA allows short-term rental, whereas everything else in downtown is technically not supposed to be a short-term rental. People still do it. Like they still, if we go into, it actually has a high AirDNA score downtown Salt Lake, but there is that risk of those getting shut down, which is happening more and more in downtown. See, it's got a score of 93%. Oh, you know what? Let's do a little digging. So I'm going to show you. There is the 5-bedroom thing. I think it was downtown that I was looking at. Yeah, it was. Okay, so downtown, you can see here that the 6+ bedrooms do way better than even the 5 bedrooms. So those bigger homes. That kind of is a good forecast of all surrounding areas because you can see downtown just encompasses this. Technically, these homes, a lot of them are not legal, but they continue to run. So there is that risk of getting shut down. So if you were to do that, you would, one, you need to manage it really well so you don't get any complaints. And two, you'd want to make sure that the long-term, midterm rents pan out as well in case you have to do a backup plan. But so this is, especially in management, our homes that are bigger, 6+ bedrooms do better in Utah specifically. So even if you're looking at a lifestyle investment, check out the different price points between like a big house in Eden is probably the same price as a ski in, ski out condo in Park City. That's like a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom condo in Park City. So for your price point, it's probably safer to go towards Eden. And then Ogden, I'll say this too, Ogden, in the valley of Ogden, they don't really enforce it, but there's very few legal spots in Ogden. But Eden is similar to Park City and where that it's all fine. They allow it there because it's close to ski hills. So if we go into this map that I like, so right in here, there's little pockets of legal areas, but they're pretty few. But if you go right through this canyon, then all of this is legal. Same with Park City. It's all legal to operate short-term rentals there. And then each city has its own rules in different areas. So, however, if you are using it as a lifestyle investment and you can claim it as like, this is my home, then you're usually safe. On like Sandy, which is where I live right here at the base of these ski resorts, there's a permit process where they allow a certain amount of permits in each little chunk of Sandy, but you have to claim it that it's your home and that you'll use it. They have no way to enforce that, and they've never been able to enforce that. But that is what they ask of those permits. Okay, I think that's all I've got. I'm just going to end unless someone has one more question they want to type in real quick. then I think that's it. Feel free to, I'll pull this back up, to book a time with me if you have a certain area you want more info on. We can go over that. And again, reach out if you need guidance in another area. So thanks all. Good talking to you. Yes, I'll show you the slide with the sub-market. Which sub-market? Salt Lake City. Okay, yeah. So this is Salt Lake City proper. Let's take you to with the listing scores. Yeah, I got you. So if you go to the parent market, and you click on the sub-markets, you can see better of the realistic places. So there's certain cities here, each has their own rules. I'm pretty familiar with most of them, if not all of them. Places I like, that all my homes are in Sandy. I love Sandy. It's my favorite. I love how close it is to the base of the canyon. It doesn't have the highest score though. I think it's because things are getting more expensive. Draper is a great one as well. Draper is, it's more high end, and they have 0 STR restrictions there. Any lake areas? Yes. So up in Eden, there's that Pine View Reservoir. That's a good area that has that lake. But if you go into the Orem, Provo, there is what's called Utah Lake right there. And that's a big one as well. It's a really big boating lake. So you've got Utah Lake, and then over on the Park City side, there's Jordanelle Reservoir. So I actually have a home listed in this area right now that is actually a really good investment. It's in Orem. And I'll even bring it up, but we'll look at the submarkets here. This is a good lake area. Also within this area, you've got way more than just the lake, because that's only a summer thing. But it's still close to mountains, and you've got the 2 big universities there, BYU and UVU. So it's a decent area. A lot of people don't like going that far. It's not that far. It's like 45-minute drive from Salt Lake City into that area. So another one to check out would be, this one's kind of up and coming too, is Heber. Heber is Park City-ish, but about 20-minute drive. And in between Heber and Park City is this Jordanelle Reservoir, which is really big for boating, and it's actually a state park. So that's a good one too. It's just a higher price point. And then you go further up to the by Eden, and there's that Pine View Reservoir. So those are the 3 areas of lakes that I would suggest, because they're all within an hour of the airport and in desired locations. I'll show you the one I've got listed. Let's see. I can't remember the. So this is my site, by the way. I keep it updated with properties. So this is the one that I have listed. And it's got a lake view and a mountain view. So that's why this area is really nice. I don't know if you can see the picture. So from the deck, you can see the lake and the mountains. So that's another area I would suggest right there, though the laws are a little bit stricter and something to be aware of. So that would take a little more research. But American Fork is right here, and that doesn't have as strict of legislature. Is there an HOA? Not on the home that I have, no. Not on this one. So that's in Orem. And then Lehigh is pretty good too. There's very few restrictions in Lehigh. And Saratoga Springs. So those all are just surrounding this area. Alpine, yes. Let me check out. Oh, that one. It's at the Highland area. That one technically doesn't even have its own submarket. I tried looking for it earlier. There it is. So Highland and Alpine are considered in this. Oh, there it is, Alpine right there. Sorry. But it's a good spot. It really is. And it's right next to this is where that new development is, the point right there. So this is actually known for being a higher end location and it does really well. That's a good spot too. I actually really like that area. And it's higher up on the mountain, so you have views of the lake. So really anywhere in here is a good lake thing, especially up closer to the mountain. So these two, because you can see the lake. Okay. That's all I've got. Kate, if you have any questions, give me an email or a call. I'll put this back up right there. Thanks, Cheryl. Okay, see you guys. Thanks so much. Good talking to you.